Crop production. All living organisms need food to survive. Food is obtained from plants and animals. Cultivation of crops and rearing of animals have undergone tremendous advancement during the last century. In order to provide food for the increasing population, regular production, proper management and distribution of food is necessary. Some important terms related to crop production. Agriculture, the branch of science that deals with growing plants and raising livestock for human use. Field, the land where plants are grown. Crop or croplands are same kind of plants that are grown in a field on a large scale. Plants grown by the farmers in the field is called cultivated plants. Plants that grow in nature unattended by humans is called wild plants. The product which is obtained from a crop is called produce. And to grow crops, farmers perform several activities over a period of time. These activities are called agricultural practices. Croplands are classified on the basis of products obtained from them, like cereal or grain plants which gives the carbohydrate, example rice, wheat, maize, barley, oat. Pulse crops which provide protein, gram, pea, bean are some of the examples. Oilseed crops we obtain the oil like mustard, groundnut, soybean, sunflower, etc. From fiber crops we obtain the fibers, example cotton and jute. Root crops, example carrot, sweet potato, radish, beetroot. Tuber crops are potato, tapioca, etc. There is one more way for classification of plants, that is on the basis of season in which they grow. First, rabi crops. These plants grows in the winter, that is sown in the October, November and harvested in the month of March or April. As these plants grows in the winter season, that's why it is called winter crops. Example wheat, gram, pea, potato, mustard. Kharif crops are also called as the rainy season crops because these are grown in the rainy season, generally sown in the month of June or July and harvested in the month of September or October. Example rice or paddy, maize, groundnut, cotton, soybean. To grow crops, farmers perform several activities. These activities are called agricultural practices. There are some activities the farmers perform in almost all the types of croplands. And these agricultural practices are called basic agricultural practices. These are preparation of the soil, sowing of seed, application of manures and fertilizers, irrigation, weeding, that is removal of weed, controlling the pest, harvesting, storage. Let me discuss the first basic agriculture practice, that is preparation of the soil. Plants are grown in soil. They obtain water and nutrients from the soil through their roots. Roots are held in place by the soil. Soil microbes and other organisms such as earthworm help to increase the soil fertility. It is therefore important that the soil is well prepared. And the preparation of the soil requires two steps. First is plowing or tilling. It is the process of loosening and turning the soil by the use of plow. Plow might be the wooden or the iron, and it might be pulled by the bullock or the tractor. In the loose soil, the roots penetrate deeply and get the water and the oxygen, so it will be healthy. So plant will be also healthy grow, and that is the reason it will be the crop yield will be more. and the plowing uproots the undesirable plants, that is weed, and kills them. When the plowing is done, then the field becomes uneven and there might be the big pieces of soils called the crumbs. So it is necessary to break these crumbs and level the soil, and this is done with the help of leveler. Again, this leveler is wooden plank or it is a iron plank, and it is pulled by the bullock or the tractor. These are some of the agriculture implements like plow and the hoe used for the plowing, cultivator again for the plowing, leveler for leveling the soil. These are some more agriculture tools. Next, once the soil is prepared, the next step is the sowing of seeds. The process of putting the seeds in the soil is called sowing. Few things should be kept in mind before sowing the seed. Seeds should be good quality and healthy. Seeds should be sown at the correct depth and at proper distance. How to find out seeds are healthy? There is one simple test is there. In the container, take the water and pour the seeds into that. Leave it for the 1 hour, and after 1 hour just observe. You will see that few seeds are sink at the bottom and few seeds will be floating on the water, surface of the water. The seeds which are sink in the water are healthy, while the seeds which are floating are not healthy. It is infected seeds. Through that seeds only take the good seeds for the sowing. Sowing of the seeds are done by the two methods, broadcasting and the seed drill. Broadcasting is the spreading the seeds by hand, but there is one disadvantage of the broadcasting method is that seeds will be not spread equally. The uniform distribution is not possible using the broadcasting method, and this method is not commonly used nowadays. The most commonly used method of sowing the seed is a seed drill, which can be done by the instrument called the seed drill. Seeds sown with a seed drill are equally distributed with a proper distance and reach the right depth. Some of the seeds are not directly sown into the soil in the field, but these seeds are sown into the nursery. When the seeds germinate, the seedlings are picked and transplanted in the field manually. This process is called transplantation. There are some advantages of transplantation. It helps the farmers to select only the healthy seedling. Seedlings can be planted at proper distance. It increases crop production. Some of the plants which are grown by transplantation are paddy and vegetables like tomato, brinjal, onion, etc. Croplands require nutrients for growth. These are obtained from the soil. When a farmer grows crop continuously in the same field, the soil becomes poor in nutrients. As a result, crop yield gets reduced. Therefore, improving the nutrient quantity in the soil is very important. There are the 3 ways of improving the soil fertility following: adding manure and compost, crop rotation and mixed cropping. In the following method, farmers leave the field uncultivated for 1 or more seasons. This allows the soils to naturally regain the nutrients. The decomposition of dead plants and animals by microbes is responsible for returning the nutrients to the soil. Adding manures and compost is either add the manures or compost or both to the soil. And in the crop rotation and mixed cropping, the different crops are grown either alternately or together. Manure. It is an organic substance obtained from decomposition of plant and animal waste. Depending upon what is the raw material used to make the manure, manures are of three types. Farmyard manures are made of farmyard waste like animal dung, leaves, straw, etc. Green manures consist of leguminous plants that grow in certain height, then plowed. Compost is the manure obtained by the decomposition of dead plants and animals. These are some of the examples. First one is a compost, which is by decomposer, and second is the compost only making using the red worms called the vermicomposting. Fertilizers are chemical substances which are rich in particular nutrients. These are made in the factories. Example, urea, NPK, CAN, etc. There are some disadvantages of using the fertilizer. They make the soil less fertile. They are source of water pollution if used in the excess quantity. Let me see the difference between fertilizers and manures. Fertilizers are chemical substances prepared in factories, while manures are natural substances obtained by the decomposition of plants and animals waste. It is prepared in the field. Fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil, while the manure provides a lot of humus to the soil. Fertilizer is rich in specific nutrients, so required in very small quantity. But manure is less rich in the specific nutrients, so required in large quantity. But the excess use of manure does not cause water pollution or any harm to the soil. But when the fertilizers are used in excess quantity, it causes the water pollution as the extra fertilizers remain in the soil and it gets washed away along with the rainwater and pollute the water bodies. Fertilizers are not bulky, so easy to handle, store and transport. But long-term use of the fertilizer makes the soil unfertile. Manure is bulky, so it is difficult to store and transport the manure. But long-term use of the manures are not causing any harm to the croplands or soil. Next is the next practice for improving the soil fertility is practice of growing different crops in different seasons in rotation so that the soil is not depleted of its nutrients, because each plant had different nutritional requirement. Generally in the crop rotation, leguminous crops are used at least in one season. As the leguminous plants, roots have the nodules in which rhizobium bacteria is present. This rhizobium bacteria fix atmospheric nitrogen into the nitrogen compound and make it available to the plant, and the excess amount of this fixed nitrogen will be released in the soil. Thus, naturally the soil becomes rich in the nitrogenous nutrient. That's why during the crop rotation, at least one season leguminous crops are grown. Next, soil improvement to improve the soil fertility. Next method is used a mixed cropping. It is growing two or more crops simultaneously in the same field. And among these two or more crops, one crop is leguminous crop. And as we had discussed in the previous topic, that is crop rotation, leguminous crops are as fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. So all these 2-3 crops get benefited from this mixed cropping. Next important agriculture practice is irrigation. Irrigation is supplying water to the crops in the fields at specific intervals. As water is important for crop, for germination of seeds does not take place without water. Roots fail to develop and elongate in dry soil without water. Nutrients cannot move from soil in the roots in the absence of water. It protects the plants from frost and hot air current. Fields are irrigated with water from the ponds, lake, canals, wells, tube wells, rivers and dams. The water is supplied to the field by the different methods. Some of the methods are called traditional method of irrigation. These are used from many centuries, while some methods are used. These are in the modern days, and that's why it is called the modern methods of irrigation. Traditional methods of irrigation, example moot, chain, pump, dhikli, rahat. Modern methods of irrigation include sprinkler system, drip irrigation. These are the pictures of some of the traditional methods of irrigation: dhikli, chain pump, moot, rahat. Rarely we can see these methods of irrigation nowadays. In the modern method, sprinkler system of irrigation, for the water tank, the main pipeline, and this main pipeline is divided into the parallel pipelines, and these parallel pipelines will connected to the perpendicular pipes, and there is an escape from the rotating nozzles which sprinkle water on the crop. This method is efficient method and water is distributed equally to all the crops. Drip irrigation is the method of irrigation mainly used in the place where acute shortage of the water is there. Still the farmer need to grow 2 or 3 crops per year. In this method, again the water is stored in the tank, and from there the pipeline, and these pipelines are parallelly arranged, and these pipes have the small hole near the base of the plant. When the water is released from these holes, the water starts dripping drop by drop near the root of the plant, and thus it is economical method of, as water is not wasted at all. Where the plants absorb, that much place only the water is supplied. Weeding. Weeds are unwanted and uncultivated plants that grow with the crop plants. The removal of the weeds from a field is called weeding. Weeding is very important because weeds compete with the main crop for sunlight, water and nutrients. Methods of weeding. Weeds are removed by various methods. One is by manually, weeds are removed, and it is done with a kurpa or harrow. And it is also done in the large agriculture field. It is also done by using the chemical removal, that is by using the chemicals called weedicide. Example 2,4-D. Nowadays the natural weedicides are also used, and this natural weedicide, that is a biological weedicide, the natural enemy of the weeds are used which kill, like for the insect. The insects which eat that particular weed, it will be spread on the ground. Now these insects eat, not the normal crop or the other disease causing, the one which cause the disease to the weed, it will be the spread, and this disease causing bacteria or fungi only damage the weed but not the natural crop. While spraying the weedicides, lot of precautions should be taken by farmer. They should cover their nose, mouth, and even the shirts with the long sleeves and the pant they should wear. Okay, because these weedicides are poisonous. These are the various tools used for weeding, and the person doing that manually removing the weed from the plant. Next is protection of crops from the pests and the diseases. Pests like the insect causing the disease or the bacteria, fungi, and for that controlling generally pesticide is sprayed. To show away the grazing animals and birds, to protect the croplands, generally scarecrow is installed on the fields. Once all this practice is over, the crop is ready to crop get mature. Next important agriculture practice is the harvesting. It is the process of cutting and gathering of crops. It is either done manually by using the sickle, or with nowadays it is done with the machine using the harvester. Harvester is attached to the tractor. Threshing, it is the process of separating grains from the harvested crops. It is either done manually by striking the stalks of the crop against the hard surface. It is also done by using the machine called the thresher. Sometimes both the harvester and the thresher is attached to the tractor, and it is called a combine. And it will do simultaneously harvesting and threshing of the crop. After threshing, the grains have to be separated from the chaff. The process of separating grains from the chaff with the help of the wind is called winnowing. In this process, the threshed crop is dropped on the ground from a height. The grains or the seeds being heavier fall almost straight down, and the chaff being the lighter is blown away by the wind. This is done generally during the windy days. Now once the harvesting, threshing, winnowing is done, then it is very important to store the grains so that it can be made available in different parts of the country throughout the year. But before storing of the grain, as the fresh crop produce contain a lot of moisture, and this moisture containing grains are stored, then they get spoiled or are attacked by the microbes, because the moisture promote the growth of bacteria and fungi. Hence, before storing the grains or other products, they are properly dried in the sun to remove excess of moisture. During storage, food grains also have to be protected from the rat, worms and insects. Storage are generally done in the two ways. One is in the small scale, in the domestic level, it is a household. The foods or grains are stored in either jute bags or small metallic bins. Often dried neem leaves are put while storing at home. This protects the grains from worms and insects. On a large scale, on commercial scale, food grains are put in the granary, silos or in the gunny bags and put into the godowns. Inside silos or granaries, grains are protected from rats, insect through chemical treatment. Other than the plant, we obtain the food from animals also. Some of the food that commonly obtained from animals are milk, and from milk we obtain the various milk products. The chicken, fish, meat, egg, honey, these are some of the commonly obtained food from animals. Rearing of animals on a large scale with proper food, shelter and care is called animal husbandry. Animals are raised in the farms. Large scale rearing of honeybees to obtain honey is called apiculture, And last scale rearing of fish is called pisciculture. Cod liver oil is obtained from the liver of codfish. It is rich in vitamin D. Milk, egg and fish are rich in proteins. Meat is a rich source of fats and protein.